In the vast theater of the mind, a strange play unfolds, a play where the main actor believes he is the director. The mind endlessly tries to control, to shape, to manipulate life. It says, if I control my thoughts, I will be free. If I change my emotions, I will find peace. If I master my circumstances, happiness will finally be mine. But have you ever noticed that the more you try to control, the tighter the knot becomes? The more you fight the mind, the more it fights back. The more you resist what is, the more suffering grows. Control is a trap disguised as freedom. It promises safety, but delivers tension. It offers certainty, but creates fear of losing it. It claims power, but breeds exhaustion. Jiddu Krishnamurti, one of the clearest voices of truth, invites us to look beyond this entire game. He points to a simple, radical fact. Freedom is not found in control, but in observation. An observation without judgment, without interference, without trying to change anything. But how can this be? Isn't doing nothing passive? Isn't control necessary for growth, for order, for inner peace? Number. In fact, the attempt to control is the very source of disorder because it divides the observer and the observed, creating conflict where there was none. And so, the invitation is simple, yet profound. To step out of the battlefield, to put down the tools of control, and simply observe, just observe, without effort, without resistance, without naming, judging, or fixing. In that simple seeing, something extraordinary begins to happen. Shall we go deeper into this sacred art of observation? Look closely, deeply. When the mind observes, it often does so with an agenda. It watches to fix. It listens to correct. It notices in order to change. But this is not true observation. This is control in disguise. True observation, as Krishnamurti points, is a silent presence without choice, without interference, without desire. It is simply the pure seeing of what is. Notice it now. When fear arises, the mind says, how do I stop this fear? When anger appears, the reflex is, how do I get rid of this? But see the trap. The very resistance to fear is more fear. The fight against anger is itself another form of anger. Control divides. It creates a conflict between what is and what should be. And in that division, suffering is born. But if you, for one moment, simply observe fear, not as something to escape, not as something wrong, but as a pure movement of energy, something magical begins to unfold. The observer dissolves into the observed. There is no longer my fear. There is only the raw, alive presence of what is. And in that, fear transforms. Or perhaps, more accurately, fear is seen for what it really is, a temporary wave, arising and dissolving in the vast ocean of awareness. Nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be changed. The simple act of seeing, without choice, is itself liberation. But the mind will ask, isn't this passive? Won't life fall apart without control? Look again. Control never brought real order. It only brought resistance, stress, and conflict. True order arises from clarity. And clarity is the natural byproduct of choiceless observation. It's not about doing nothing. It's about seeing deeply and allowing action to arise spontaneously from that clarity. Not from fear, not from habit, not from the conditioned mind. Would you like to step even deeper into this sacred field of awareness? When you look honestly, you begin to notice something radical, almost frightening to the mind. The controller, the one who tries to manage thoughts, feelings, life itself, is not actually real. It is a phantom, a habit of thought, a collection of memories, beliefs, reactions, calling itself me. But pause, gently investigate. Who is this me that tries to control life? Is it the body, the thoughts, the emotions, the voice in the head? Observe carefully. None of these are truly you. They arise within you. They change. They disappear. But they are not what you are. In the silence of pure observation, something becomes clear. The controller, the fixer, the one who resists and manipulates, is itself a mental construct. And here, a great paradox appears. The moment this is seen, control collapses. Not as an act of will, but because the illusion is exposed. What remains is an openness, a vast stillness, a conscious presence that doesn't need to control anything because it is already whole. Freedom was never the result of control. It was the absence of it, the absence of the inner war. See how life flows effortlessly without the constant interference of the mind. The breath moves, the heart beats, the body heals, the wind blows, the sun rises. Life simply is. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't seek approval. It unfolds in perfect harmony when left undisturbed. When you surrender the illusion of the controller, you do not become passive. You become profoundly alive. Your actions, no longer born from fear or compulsion, arise from clarity, love, and deep intelligence. This is freedom. Would you like to continue into the final part where we explore how to live this freedom in everyday life? So, what does it mean to live this, to walk through life free from the burden of control and rooted in observation? It doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means moving, acting, responding, but from a place of clarity, not from confusion. When observation becomes your natural state, you are no longer entangled in the dramas of thought, the anxious mind, the restless search, the constant grasping. Begin to dissolve like mist under the morning sun. Silence becomes your foundation, not the silence of empty rooms, but the silence of being, a profound stillness, present even when sounds, sensations, and experiences arise. Life still happens. Joy happens. Sadness happens. Success, failure, gain, loss. But something within remains untouched. You become like the open sky, where clouds may come and go, but the sky itself is never stained, never disturbed. This is the freedom Krishnamurti speaks of, not an achievement, not something you gain after years of effort, but a natural state, uncovered, the moment you cease trying to change, control, or manipulate what is. Just observe, without judgment, without resistance, without effort. And in this observation, life reveals its simplicity, its beauty, its intelligence. There is a sacredness in simply being, in witnessing the flow of life without interference. So, the invitation is simple, not to become someone, not to reach somewhere, but to return here to the natural awareness that is already present, watching, witnessing, free. You are not the controller, you are not the thinker, you are the aware presence, before thought, before identity. And in this, there is peace, there is freedom, there is life, as it truly is. This is the silent revolution.